Okay, so you've been making art. Maybe you've got some pieces that you're super proud of, and you're doing commissions here and there. But the question is, where the hell do you put all this work so that people can see it and actually hire you? If you're new here, my name is Sylvia, and I'm an artist and designer. On this channel, I talk about art, I talk about creative careers, and I talk about all the decisions behind the work. So if that sounds like your thing, subscribe and let's get into it. Cool. So we're gonna be covering that today. I'm gonna actually walk you through my actual portfolio on Behance, and I'll show you how I organize everything. I'll teach you how to set up your own, and I'll also explain why I keep a PDF version and when to use each one. And then by the end of this video, you will know where to host your portfolio, especially if you're still a beginner, what to include and what to make that is professional enough so that people can actually want to work with you. Okay, before I show you where to put your stuff, let's actually talk about what needs to be in there. Quality over quantity. Anybody that tells you how to do a portfolio will tell you this exact same message. I don't care if you have 50 pieces, if only 10 of them are actually strong, show those 10. Like, seriously, a tight portfolio with actually good work beats a super bloated one with a bunch of okay pieces every single time. And if you're just starting out and you only have like 5 to 8 solid pieces, I think that's perfect. That's enough. And you can always build more on it later. The next thing you need to do is organize by sections. If you do multiple things like me, I do fine arts, commissions, and licensing. Don't just throw them all into a single pile. You have to separate them and you actually have to organize them so people can know what they're looking for, and you need to make it easy for people to find what they are looking for. Also, know what industry you want to work in. Are you going to be doing finance? Are you going to be doing commissions? Are you going to be working in entertainment? You want to work in branding? Your portfolio needs to reflect that. And if you haven't figured this out yet, I made a whole video about choosing your path, and I'll link it right here. So watch this first if you're still confused. And this one is also very, very important. Lead with your best work. Your first 3 to 5 pieces, that's what people's going to judge you on. And if those don't hook them, they're gone. They're not gonna scroll and to see if it gets better. So make sure you're putting all of your strong pieces first. Okay, now that we've covered the basics, let me show you where all of this actually goes. So my main portfolio, it's on Behance. And why Behance, you ask? Because of a couple of reasons. One, it's free. You don't need to pay for hosting or buy a domain or deal with building a website. It's just free. It's built for creatives. The whole platform is designed to showcase projects, not just dump images like in a grid on Instagram. And three, this is my favorite one. When you apply to freelance jobs or creative opportunities or pitch to clients, you can just send them your Behance link. It looks professional enough, it's organized, they can see everything in one place without you having to send them like a multiple attachments. And also, recruiters and art directors actually browse Behance looking for talent. So there's a chance people can find you without even you pitching. And this has happened to me a couple times. So let me just show you what my Behance looks like. Okay, this is mine. Honestly, I've kept it really, really simple. I have my profile section, my name, and what I do, my location. And I keep this super short because like no one is actually reading any paragraphs here. So very, very simple. And then I have a couple projects on here, a couple personal projects that I've worked on. Those are the ones I keep at the top. And with Behance, you can actually move things around based on like, what you want to show, what you want to showcase. So that's why I can easily like have my personal project at the top of my profile. And then here you can see I have a section for my illustration work, because I did mention that I'm trying to get into illustration more, especially like fashion illustration. So I have a lot of this work that I've kept in my Behance portfolio with, the different style that I'm working with right now. And then I have commissions. So I kind of just put all of my commission work in one section. And I like to keep them in, you know one section of Behance, because so that people can see that I have done like client work, even though they are all like different styles. I mean, you could section this by, especially if you have like a big commission project that you worked on, you could either section it by like those commission projects, or you know just keep them like super simple or like in one section. And then I also have like my graphic design work, where I mix my illustration with graphic design and posters and everything, so that way I could also get hired to do a couple graphic design magazines and stuff. So yeah, I think this is like my favorite thing about Behance, and I apply to a lot of jobs on Behance as well. So I'm gonna show you the job section and why I love using Behance to apply to jobs, because I can just easily send my portfolio, especially if I'm applying on Behance. It's so simple. I can just have like my portfolio and then send, all of those things. And now that I'm noticing, they're also asking for work experience, which is very interesting. I think this is the first time I'm saying this. I don't usually keep my work experience on Behance. I just more or less focused on like showing my jobs, and like they've worked for me regardless. But yeah, you could also still add like your work experience if you have any um jobs that you've done. I do have an art CV, so I'll probably update this later. Now that I've showed you how Behance work and why I use Behance, because it's so convenient for me, I'm going to show you how to create a new section on Behance. Like if you want to create a new project, you're just going to click on this create project thing here, and then you're given like a blank space to work with. So one thing that you could probably start with is adding a new header or like a welcome page. So I'm gonna use this and just make it my header, kind of like a welcome to my portfolio, welcome to my project page. Now that I have my header or my welcome page, I'm going to add like three different images that kind of speak to the same theme in a grid in like the next section, so that I can show more of like whether it's like process images or it's like you know different styles or different the same thing, right? So let's do like a photo grid, and then in the next section I'm going to show you how to add like a text or add a description, you know box or something. Let's add a new text section. So we have our header. This could be like your portfolio intro page. We have like a couple images representing the same theme. We could add like a welcome page or something like that. Let's make it a header. Uh, this. Okay. Let me change the color to my favorite color, vivid blue. Boom. Now I have portfolio, I have a welcome page. I could even have like a text describing my projects. So this is just a very simple way of like how to use Behance and like how to structure your Behance. And then if you want to post this, by the time you're done and you feel like you want to post it, so you go to settings, you give it a title, let's just say portfolio. Tools, what you use to make the works in the portfolio, and then description of the work, you know everything that you need to, all of the information that you have about this. And now you have like a complete hosted project slash portfolio on Behance. So you can save Shraft for now. And yeah, I hope you definitely try this out and let me know if it works for you or if it helps you, like simplifies your process. Okay, let me show you a portfolio that I think does this really well. This is by an artist I just found on the explore page. Everything looks super clean. Every project has a clear title. She has a very very good cover image, and you immediately know what you're looking at. And you can see that they've also really separated their commercial work from personal work, which is a very, very smart move. And she has like really, really cool images of mock-ups too, which is so epic. And their style is very, very clear. Every project feels like it belongs in the same portfolio, and like when a client lands here, they'll know exactly what they're gonna get when they hire this person. you know they also have like process shots mixed with final work, but then it doesn't overtake the whole portfolio. And like, if you want to also show how you think, make sure that your sketches are also included with the final work, and everything feels like a cohesive project. Okay, so Behance is awesome when people are browsing or when you're applying to stuff online. But sometimes you just need to send someone your portfolio like in an email, or when a potential client is like, "Hey, can you send me your work?" You're not gonna be like, "Oh yes, my Behance. Good luck navigating it." Like, you need something that you can just attach and send, especially if you're trying to like make this a very quick application, right? So that's why I have the PDF. So my PDF is kind of structured in a way that feels like a summary to my Behance, and it's easier to email. People can download it and also look at it offline, and you can even forward it to someone else. Or like, if you're submitting to like a pitch online and they actually require you to have a portfolio. Like, this has happened to me where I did reach out on Behance, but then they also required me to submit a PDF portfolio. So it's always very, very good to have that handy, especially if you want to like apply to a company that would require you to have one. So, and it also just looks more professional when you're pitching directly to someone. So I keep both. Behance is for my online presence. I use it as my website, to be honest, and like PDF is for when I'm actually reaching out to people or like cold emailing and applying to applications. Okay, this is my PDF and I made it in Canva. Super easy, and they also have free templates that looks very, very clean. So I've kept mine super minimal. This is way more condensed than my Behance. On my Behance, I have about 15 projects, and in this PDF, I only have four, and that's it. So what I did with this PDF was that I cut out older work that doesn't really look like what I do right now. The experiments were fun, but not really portfolio material. Anything that doesn't directly show what I want to get hired for. So what I kept at the beginning, I have my best murals with install shots, I think, and I also kept my strongest apparel work that shows that I can handle commercial projects, and also a few key illustration projects that show my personal style. And so it's a mix of like personal work, personal style, and then client work that shows that I can actually deliver. And this PDF is basically just the highlight reel of my highlight reel on Behance. And if someone opens it, they're basically seeing like my top 10%. It takes them 2 minutes to flip through, and that's the whole point. Okay, so now you know where to put your work, you know how to organize it so it doesn't look like a mess. But like, what if you don't have works? Like, I made this whole video assuming that you actually have something to put in your portfolio. But then if you don't have, I am still here and I will be here next week to show you how to actually start building an art project, and what you need to know before starting a new art project and why you need to have one. I'm going to show you how I came up with the project that I currently have right now, and the ideas behind it, and also like all the work that I put behind creating this kind of project. And yeah, so that's what I'll be covering next. And if you want to see all of the behind the scenes stuffs, the burnout, creative doubts, the messy parts, I write about that in my Substack, and the link is in the description. Okay, thanks for work. All right, thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe. Click, click the subscribe button, and then I will see you next time. Bye.